production of Me Too Monologues. My name is Parker. I'm one of the co-directors of this year's production.
My name's Jared. I'm also one of the co-directors of this year's production.
And we would like to invite you to closing night of Me Too Monologues.
So, in case you don't know, Me Too Monologues is a production held every year where students and faculty affiliated with UNC anonymously submit monologues about anything from any issue, situation, the community's perspectives, all where different students will perform them for you on stage. I think it's beautiful, monumental change for everyone to see.
Because all of our monologues are student written, they are real, genuine, and unfiltered. So a lot of them do contain sensitive material, including depression, anxiety, self-harm, and suicide, sexual abuse and different forms of assault, gender identity and oppression, racial profiling, etc. So if at any point during the show any of the contents of the monologues may upset you or trigger you, please feel free to exit to the sides and head out to the lobby, catch your breath, or find either myself or Jared.
So the show runs for about 60 minutes, so there'll be no intermission. Also, this is a very interactive show, so feel free to snap, shout, scream, laugh, go, honey, yes, please, everything. We want that to support the people who wrote these monologues and to know they are loved and known and welcome for their thoughts.
We are channeling like poetry slam vibes, so like when an actor says something that's like, that's the truth, give them a shout. Also, after the show, we're going to open up the stage for audience members to come chat with the actors, whether they have a question about their monologue, want to ask about the process, or just want to congratulate them. So feel free to join us for a couple minutes after the show.
Please know your exits. There's 2 exits you just came from down here, 2 exits in the back, and then 1 in the mezzanine.
Now, please take out all of your electronic devices, cell phones, Apple Watches, whatever. Silence them, turn them off, and without further ado, please enjoy the show.
You can't start conversations that people don't want to have. You cannot force people to know you. And there's never a good time to talk about the heavy stuff, the traumatic stuff, the not polite dinner conversation stuff, the I can only tell certain friends this stuff, because whoever's prepared to hear the heavy stuff, let alone talk about it, it's like you have to have a conversation to make sure it's okay to have the conversation. Is the person you want to tell in the right headspace? Will they be triggered by anything you say? Are they comfortable being a support system for you? Will they just listen, try to give you advice, try to fix you? Will they tell anyone else? And then there's the timing. Is it 2 a.m., which everyone knows is an irrational time to have heavy conversations, but somehow they're always happening at 2 a.m. Then if all these questions are answered to your satisfaction, you still have to figure out how to talk. And I wish I knew how to talk. I wish I could just say it out loud, but every time I try to speak, I feel like I can't breathe. Like in my sternum, there's this 20-pound weight that's pushing me to the ground, and I get all trapped in my head, and sentences don't make sense, and I feel like if I say any one of them out loud, it will sound ridiculous. And then I worry that I won't say the right thing, or you won't understand, and I've already forgotten to breathe for several moments, and there's this headache that starts forming in the front of my temple, like it's trying to crush the thoughts inside my mind. My thoughts get scattered, I can't focus, and I don't even know what I was trying to say anymore. Just when I think I've gathered the courage to tell you, I stop? What if you don't want to know? What if I say too much and it overwhelms you? What if you treat me differently or think of me differently and I repeat the process of forgetting to breathe and I want to rip my hair out for being stupid, for stressing and panicking over nothing. And then I turn on myself, why can't I get a grip? Why can't I just be normal? What is wrong with me? Everything is wrong with me. I'm a mess. I can't do anything right. All I do is make mistakes. I'm worried about how they will look at me or what they will say, or worse, that my subconscious won't let me believe that how they feel about me hasn't changed. I hold on to the negative things people say about me a lot more and for a lot longer than I do the positive things. Someone once told me that I would never be loved, that people would use me and leave me. And for some reason my mind keeps replaying that every time something negative happens or I start to worry, I think that and believe that. Even though I know it's false. I do not have the adequate vocabulary to try and explain my life experiences because I don't want to portray myself wrong or be misunderstood. So instead, I say nothing. But to be fair, no one asked me anything either.
All right. I don't know about y'all, but I'm addicted to working. I'm a workaholic. It might be because I'm a Capricorn. It might be because I like waking up to a full stomach when that bi-weekly check hits every couple of Fridays. I just love to work my ass off. I'm currently working 2 jobs, and I was considering getting a 3rd. Deep down, I know I could be working less hours, but clocking into a busy state of mind allows me to clock out all the personal business lurking around in my head. I filled 1,000,001 buckets of popcorn, all to dismiss the fact that I don't even have one friend. I sold 500,000 pounds of barbecue, all to forget how my father used his 5 fingers to slap my pregnant mother. I made inventory and I did spreadsheets, all to forget the fact I've never been loved. And I will never have a man I love in my bed sheets. I work to forget, but I forget to work on myself. That standard clock in, clock out routine retired as soon as he clocked in for the first time. He smiled at me as I showed him how to use the register. Great, his teeth weren't yellow and his breath wasn't hot. Maybe we'll get some good tips tonight. He ran into me as I was wiping down the counter, and he caught me by the shoulder to make sure I didn't fall. Fine, shit happens. He'll get the layout of the restaurant eventually. At least I didn't fall to the ground. I bent over to grab some barbecue sauce from the back of the bottom cabinet. As I backed up, his hands met my waist, and his most intimate parts met my most intimate parts. He looked at me and smiled and said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there." But I could tell when he looked at me, all he wanted to see was right there in front of him. All he wanted to feel was right there touching him. What did I want? I wanted to go to work and not think about how men make me feel some type of way that's not okay. It's a hot, heavy feeling, but too heavy. So heavy that the weight of the world was on my shoulders. I had no shoulder to cry on. Was his the one I was supposed to rest on? The one I was waiting to put my trust in? The one that would allow me to come out? Come out to the world as a new man. Not isolated. Not closeted. Not abused. No. It wasn't him. I didn't want him. I didn't want his touch. Was I wrong for not giving him what he wanted? No. He could never give me what I wanted.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to be loved. But I couldn't love myself. I hate that I'm 19 years old and it took me this long to be ready. And I hate how I was touched with lust for someone I had none for. I hope the love of my life understands one day why I'm afraid of touch. I'll have to work on myself to understand what true love means. Because I deserve better.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm privileged. After all, I'm a white guy. I grew up with a dropout mom and a laborer dad. I had to work since I was 13 to make a few extra bucks. But yes, I'm privileged. My dad was on disability and couldn't work for almost a decade and had to get free lunch from school. But you bet I'm privileged. In 8th grade once, I was walking home late from a football game with my friends. I split off from them in the park and I saw car headlights coming towards me, so nervously I ran back to find my friends. When we got to the end of the park, there was a police car waiting for us. The officer asked us why one of us ran and where we were going. We all denied it and were given a ride to my friend's house. I'm privileged. Countless times I was found drinking beer on dark dead-end streets, and never was I given more than a warning. I'm privileged. Once a police officer found our beer and made us dump it out. When my friend opened the first can, it sprayed all over the police officer. He laughed. I'm privileged. Once my friends and I decided to go to the city and try to climb to the top of a tall office building. We got caught around the 20th floor and the police just showed us the elevator down. I'm privileged. Once I was driving home late one night from a friend's house when I got pulled over. The police saw my tired, bloodshot eyes and was sure I was drunk, but I wasn't. As I was getting into his car, I stumbled and fell hard, snapping my hands on his car. And he ran my information and gave me a warning. I'm privileged. Once, I had multiple police officers pointing guns at me after a fight where a gun went off. None of them fired a shot. I'm privileged. In high school, getting chased off by the police was a regular activity on the weekends. Outside of a few speeding tickets, I've only paid $100 in fines, and I've never been to jail. I was big for my age, I didn't follow the rules, I ran from the police, I have a history of marijuana use, I am still alive. I am privileged.
Dear my past love. Well, I don't even really know if I can call you that. We were never really together in an official sense, and it was only a short time I got to be with you, and I don't know how you felt about me romantically. Did you ever see me as anything more than a hookup or a fling? I remember seeing you for the first time. Your floppy hair, your cute smile. I'll admit, I got up a few extra times than needed just so I could walk past you and we could make eye contact. I remember holding your hand for the first time and how my hand seemed to fit perfectly within yours. I remember not wanting to let go. I remember our first kiss and finally feeling like I was being looked at as something special rather than an object. I remember our intimacy and feeling safe and comfortable when most other guys had used me for their own self-interest. I remember it all. Although our time together was short, I felt real things. Maybe it wasn't love, but it was something important and something real. A longing to be with you when we were apart. Maybe I am just the person who falls hard and develops unrequited feelings. Maybe I just enjoy the sense of wonder from a budding romance. Maybe I just so desperately wanted something more than potential, but time moves on and we went our separate ways. I like seeing updates of your life. timing was never going to work out, but I still think about you. I wonder about you. I wonder what you thought of me. If what I imagined was all in my head, and who knows. Maybe I was nothing more than a hookup to you, and you were just better at making me believe that I could have been something more. Regardless, a part of me is always going to love you. You deserve happiness too, and I want other girls to feel the way that I felt when I was with you. I was never worried or self-conscious that I'd make a fool of myself in front of you. I broke out of my shell because of you. You brought shy and anxious girl comfort, and for that, I'm grateful. I hope to see you someday in the future, but I don't know what the future will hold. But I do know it was changed for the better because of you. So, past love, past friend, or past whatever this was, thank you for being a part of my life, and I hope you're doing well. Sincerely, me.
I want to set myself on fire. No, I need to set myself on fire. I need to take a knife and rip off every place on my body where he touched. I need to burn every skin cell he touched. I need to gouge out my eyes and rip off my ears and bleed until I am empty to remove everything he said to or about me. He said he loved me. Whether it was proper or improper, and damn if it wasn't improper, I don't know what is. It was wrong from the moment he said it. It was wrong from the moment he thought it. It was wrong as he leaned in, and I could not do a thing because I was frozen in this fear of what the hell do I do? What the hell is he doing? He said that he meant it, that he loved me. He said he wanted me back, but he never had me. I was never his, and I never ever wanted to be. He wanted me, and I wanted to be anything except what he wanted. You're probably wondering why I didn't stop him, or try to, or run away, but I couldn't. I didn't know how. I could not comprehend what was happening, let alone how to stop it from happening, how to alter the course of events happening, and I thought pulling away would have been enough. The fact that I could not and cannot stop shaking every time I'm around him or think about having to be around him, and he noticed that. He pointed it out, told me I was shaking, yet he did not stop. He should have known better. We were both adults, but was I not still a child? He, 20 years my senior. But even if we were the same age, he was engaged. And it would have been bad enough if he was engaged and I wanted it, but he was engaged and I did not. And it would have been bad enough if who he was engaged to was some stranger, but he was engaged to my mother. He should have known better. He said he wanted me back, implying that I was ever his. He loved my mother, so I tolerated him. I did not welcome him into my life so much as accept that he was going to be in it. How could he not see that? Why did he expect more from me than that? And why did he act on that? Why did he try to? Why did he want to? He said he loved my mother, so why would he try something with the woman he loves' daughter? He said that he loved me. And that made me think of all the times he said it in the past. I thought when he said it, it was his weird way of trying to be a father figure, trying to reach into my life in a more concrete way, trying to force a place in my life because I was just tolerating him. But then he tried something. He wanted me back? Back from what? I want to set myself on fire because I cannot look at myself knowing that he has looked at me, knowing that he has thought about me. If that is what love is, I never want to be loved again.
You're beautiful, you told me in between kisses. I'd let your fingers trail the edge of my waistband, but when you slid them under, I tried to push them away. You're beautiful, you told me, as you ignored me and put your fingers on my zipper. I stopped kissing you because I felt everything tighten. You don't need to be insecure, he continued. I wasn't insecure. I wasn't ready. That was a difference that he and I failed to see. After a year of persistent "you're beautifuls," I finally said, okay. Because I thought he would get tired of loving me and saying "you're beautiful." I was tired of hearing it. So he fucked me 3 times in the back of his shitty Dodge. My head hit the door each time, and I moaned loudly because it hurt so much that I wanted him to finish quicker. Come for me, I whispered. When that was done, and he asked if I came, I lied and said yes. Then he left for college, ready to fuck the next girl who walked by with a whispered "you're beautiful." I spent my senior year alone, ashamed that in this day and age I could let someone do that to me. I didn't tell anyone. A year later, I was with someone else. This someone asked me in between kisses, "What do you like?" What? I stopped. What do you like and how far do you want to go? Carefully keeping his fingers on my waist, pausing as he waited for me to answer. I started to cry. Because after you, he had me taken aback by this simple question. Now I am floored by the bare minimum of respect, you piece of shit!
Go on. Yeah.
I wanted to cry the moment he asked me how far do you want to go because I never thought I would be asked that question. Now when I see you on campus with your shitty half smile and wave that makes everything in me feel tight again, I can only hope that you have stopped telling girls that they're beautiful and started asking them what they want.
She was hilarious. Stunning. She liked me. She liked me, of all people. Everything about her was soft. Her lips, her skin, her tangled curly hair. God, I never wanted to stop kissing those lips. They filled me with a quiet sort of confidence and whispered words of affection. She was the first person to ever make me feel wanted. It was intoxicating. For weeks, she surrounded me, and I was safe and protected from the world, a world that only wanted us as a sexual fantasy. A place where winks and smirks would follow us down the street. But we were young and dreamed about the forbidden romances that we read about in novels. I was her secret. I didn't mind. It's exciting. Looking back on it, I should have realized. It started with a stray touch, moving my hand onto her body, and suddenly her skin didn't feel so soft anymore. My hand felt foreign and tense, so I placed it back onto my leg. My naive mind told me that she was just teasing me, that I should go along with it. After all, people always told me that I should loosen up, right? It went on like this for days. The softness stifled me. Suddenly her whispers had an edge to them. Perhaps they always did. Her words filled me with guilt that I wasn't giving her enough. I felt betrayed by my anxiety. She needed more. And one night she took more. I didn't object. She left. I felt disgusted. I felt used. Had I really become a woman who didn't know how to stand up for herself? I was a strong, independent feminist. How did I allow myself to be taken advantage of like this? She had physically moved my hand, but she hadn't held it there. I hated myself. It was my fault. She told me that she didn't like women after all. She didn't like me. I had been her sexual fantasy.
Did you forget me? Because I'm still here. I never left. Actually, I have something to tell you. I have a headache. I have it all the time, and it doesn't get any better. Actually, it worsens with every movement I make. I am motion sick. I think I might vomit. I do. Out comes all the pain. I thought I would never get rid of words so bright, so damaging. I don't know how I kept them in all this time. Words like monotone, reserved, introverted. You don't like to talk, do you? Or you're so quiet. What do you mean when you tell her she's quiet? Is she really quiet, or are you putting her in a box as an excuse for why you never got to know her? To you, I'm invisible. I'm like a ghost. All I do is whisk by. Maybe you see me. Maybe you say hi, and then that's it. I am gone and forgotten. Is it because I'm too quiet? Who knew that a simple word would leave me in social limbo? Well, I don't like the word quiet, because it's not who I am. I know myself. I know what I do that I like, and I definitely know what I do that I don't like. That list goes on. I'm always moving too surely, too fast in the wrong direction. I stick to the edge of the circle even though everyone's on the inside. I make up imaginary conversations with myself, and I tell myself no before asking. Sometimes it's hard to live with myself, knowing that I am who I am. Other times it's hard to pick out my good qualities, separate everyone else's words from my own. But I'd like to start now. I like to talk. It's nice to have someone to talk to, but I make up great conversations on my own. I have my own taste in everything. I don't like to go with the grain. And most importantly, I'm not afraid to start over. So, what do I do with this word that remains after I have begged and pleaded for it to go away? I break it down, bit by bit, piece by piece, because I cannot stay trapped within it forever.
She is like a bird with a broken wing. She has all the potential to soar, to achieve every dream she's ever had, to make amazing art, amazing friends, to have an amazing life. She is beautiful and free, but she's terrified and cannot get off the ground. He's like a deer caught in headlights, watching the impending crash but unable to shift his course, startled by the unexpected, with no ability to change direction, wanting to move but unable to. Someone who can only watch the things he wants slip out of his reach. She's like a kitten drenched from the rain, shivering with the cold, curling inward to avoid your eye. Move too quickly towards her and she'll bolt, wanting the comfort of warm arms but too fearful to trust. He's like a puppy in a thunderstorm. You can hear the pitter-patter of paws on the wooden floor around you. He's running but has nowhere to go. Full of energy but contained to a small space, he's trapped here now. When the thunder crashes, he jumps, but he loves watching the rain. She's like a bunny in a warm embrace, vibrating with energy and ready to dart out of reach, comfortable but terrified of the cold air when that embrace is gone. He's like the leaves in autumn, breathtakingly beautiful but moments away from falling to the ground. She's like a dandelion in summer, a weed and a wish, ready to be plucked from the ground and to drift through the air. He's like a bumblebee, always working, jumping from flower to flower, helping spread the beauty of the world. She's like the breeze, rippling across the water, endless and uncontained, with the freedom to go on forever with nothing to stop her. He's like a fire, burning warm to heal and to heat, but never to burn. She is like a butterfly, emerging new with limitless possibility. Both are full of potential, waiting for that potential to become something more.
I noticed the ticking of clocks when I stopped to listen. Maybe it's a sign. It's just hard to ignore ticking. Maybe it's just a clock. Typically, the clock is a metaphor for mortality. The man in the midst of his midlife crisis hears the ticking and buys a Mustang with flame decals along the sides. A hot rod. Maybe it's called that because some guy named Rod was the first to notice the impending void and decided the best way to light his abyss was to cover a death trap in flames. Or, I don't know, maybe Rod was sexy and worked on cars. I know I wouldn't buy the car. Right earplugs. Also, I'm not having a midlife crisis. Right now, on the minute hand is my chin as I squish my face and bite my cheek to better allow me to analyze how best to spend the rest of my life. You know, people like to tell you when you've officially reached the rest of your life. But that's stupid. You're starting the rest of your life constantly. Hence the second hand. I know I wouldn't buy the car because I don't have to outrun death. Yet. Not that I would outrun death. Yeah, I'm more like the monk who lit himself on fire. Minus the self-sacrifice. A license is required to sell funeral merchandise. There are monks who went to court for 5 years to sell caskets. They should have just made cabinets.
If the world ends on a Sunday, and everyone except me and my family disappears off the face of the earth, it's very likely we wouldn't notice until about 1 or 2 p.m. Because when I step out of the house, it's quiet. And I live in a suburban, mostly white neighborhood. So it's the only chance where there's a break from the, "Hi, Cheryl's," and the, "How are the kids, Greg?" and the screaming, laughter, and crying of children, and the whir of somebody's lawnmower. After a week of stepping out to that, silence seems nothing less than a miracle. That is, if I'm late enough. If I'm early, I'm greeted by a charming parade of starched dresses and khaki pants marching in the cars to be whisked away to church. If I catch one of their eyes, they'll happily give me a smile and a wave that I'll reciprocate. I've never been given a judgmental glare. Probably has something to do with the whole love thy neighbor thing. Or maybe the fact that my neighbors are good people. I wonder if any of them think I'm going to hell. It's on Sundays that I like to walk barefoot and let the soil cling to the bottoms of my soles, because my mother isn't there to tell me that other people will stare. It's on Sundays that I like to take walks and stare at the other houses, the ones that are nicer than ours with lawns littered with angels and peach trees, and the ones worse than ours that look like they're sinking into themselves. My mother can't tell me that other people won't judge me, since they already are. But while I stare at the rich people's houses, and sometimes let my dog shit on their manicured lawn, I listen for something, a sign, that I should be out there worshiping him too, or that there even is a him at all. We used to go visit him. We went to the Greek Orthodox Church because there weren't any Romanian ones. My parents thought it'd be similar, but turns out there's a lot more Greek involved. But dutifully, as Europeans will do, the parents still averted their gazes when they slipped their kids a sip of Jesus' blood. Most of what I can remember from church is the burning taste at the back of my throat, coughing it up and asking for more of his blood. I still hate wine. Sometimes I close my eyes and listen on Sundays, because I wonder if I'll hear him gently whispering, "I love you," to them. Sometimes I wonder if I'll hear somebody whisper to me that I'm a heathen, or a sinner, a dirty, dirty sinner who will never have any of his love. But then, I open my eyes, because I can't hear anything except the chorus of cicadas. But still, I will listen for a whisper, a sign, because if he's here, I'd like to have a word with him.
The bed in the corner of the decorated room. It is purple. It is purple with little flowers sprinkled on the edge of the linen. It is mine. The room is also mine. The red bookshelf, death of a salesman, their growth of dust. All mine, aren't they? Just as I walked out of the baggage claim, past the crowds holding little signs, into the thick air, a language, how Chinese was breathed through their nostrils and mouths and black hair and beards. They did not feel like mine. But they are mine. My parents tell me, my passport, my birthplace, kindergarten, elementary school, my middle school, high school. They entered through my birth cord, twisted with coastal warmth, and leave a scar that makes my belly button different from others. Coast, salt, the wetness. Have you ever been so close to a place that it touches the inside of your body? It touches you and it stirs you. It's like when you love something so much it makes you feel sick. And I carry that nausea with me. When I wake up on the other side of the big ocean, the past wetness blooms in me. When Chapel Hill rains, the rain wakes me. That familiar amusement. How my friend keeps singing the same BTS lyrics, and I hated her. I hated her, and I loved her for that. Now the rain wakes me to hear it, her voice Korean, something Asian. The sound of a huge broom brushes across the parking lot outside my window. President's talk, big economic growth, and my personality. Oh, my personality. It exists on some days, if I get lucky. The rain rouses me. It drags out the wetness in me. That has nothing to do with North Carolina. Nothing to do with America. Nothing to do with being called a person of color. I'm not a person of color. Not American, not North Carolinian. I don't fall into a category. I don't get into the trap of being defined by colors. I am colorful.
Yes, ma'am.
I am Chinese. And I can be a little American when I swallow iced coffee. And don't look away, because this is about you two. This is about how you read me. If you're running for governor, don't talk to me. Because I can't vote for you. I can't vote for anything. And can I in China? Do you have democracy? Is your country expansionist? Does it hold your family in prison? Why does it do that? Where are human rights? Well, nothing. If you're interested, we are slaves. We are brainwashed and incapable of logical reasoning. We are 1984, a big red wave, everything. It's all us, it's all me. I live under the weight of someone else's ignorance and hatred. However, I choose to be unpeeled. I choose to be unopened. I innovatively keep the wetness running inside of me. Just walked past you with some Asian groceries.
Yes.
I tell myself I'm not suicidal. That I'm just doing it for attention. I'm not seriously depressed. I'm not really gonna hurt myself. I just want somebody to look at me and ask, how are you feeling today? I tell myself I'm fine. But it's hard to live when every fiber of your being wants to give up. No, I don't want to kill myself. But man, what I wouldn't give to die. And when someone notices the scars on my wrists, on my body, and on my face, they don't ask me what's wrong. They just look at me in disgust and ask, what is that? What is this? This is everything I think is wrong with me. This is everything everyone else thinks of me. This is every time I am the straw that breaks the camel's back that causes you to snap. This is too much pressure, too much stress, too much everything, even though there's nothing left. What is this? This is emotion. The anger, fear, disappointment, broken promises, and ashes of dreams. Tears that cannot be shed because tears are weakness. This is me standing tall in the face of pain and still standing strong. What is this? This is rejection. Yet again. This is everything you said about me that you thought I didn't hear. This is the dryness in the back of my eyes as I struggle not to cry. This is knowing the words but not the questions. This is every struggle and everything wrong and every time I try to say a word and the black hole swallows it because it takes away my voice and removes my ability to breathe. And as I start to grab at the pieces, it slips through my fingers like water, leaving me empty and holding on to nothing but the empty idea of something. But none of it's real. Just get out of your head. In order to overcome the pain, you must remove it from your mind, turn it into something physical. What is this? What is this? This is easier. This is understanding the source of the pain. This is removing what everyone else says and holding on to what I believe. This is shattered pieces of self-esteem built of lies, half-truths, exaggerations, and expectations. This is believing that every negative quality that can exist inside of a person exists inside of you. You just can't breathe and you can't think and you can't focus and they want you to speak. There's this darkness in the back of your mind. It's this rabbit hole of swirling endlessness, and the first time you fall in, it makes sense as you climb to the top. If you jump and stretch, you can grab it. If you hook one arm over the edge, but then the hand on the ground, breathe in, breathe out, jump up, you can grab again. Breathe in, breathe out, come on, focus, jump. Breathe in, breathe out, jump, climb. Damn it, focus, focus. Breathe in, breathe out, jump, climb, grab it. Fuck. 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 Fall. Getting up the first time is easy. Second time, no pain. What about the 10th, the 100th, the 1,000th time? What is this? This is one too many things. This is one too many times.
I'm never the first. I'm second born. Followed the path already laid out for me by my brother. My parents already had the path of action for me to follow. He got to have the trial and error to learn from mistakes, and I listened to stories, advising me not to do something my brother did or to do something my brother did. I'm the second favorite child. I can never compare to anything he did, and I live in the shadow of everything he did. But I am second. I'm the second choice friend. Many times I've been in tremendous trios, not the dynamic duo, a trio. I was never the first choice friend. Halloween would see the other two as costume pair and me as a third wheel. Another trio in my life would maybe be the second choice again. Because as a first year, you can't have a triple in a suite on South Campus. The two picked each other and I was left. I was second. Still somewhat included, but clearly on the edge.
Yeah.
A third trio in my life would see one person text the other more than me. Things that shouldn't even bother me, but they did. I am to sit in the second row of a roller coaster. The walk in the second row behind two people because the sidewalk is only big enough for two people and you were the one chosen not to have a person to walk with. Hearing stories secondhand, hearing information secondly after everyone has already been told. Thinking I was cool because I would try to tell something to someone only to be told that they had already heard it a week ago. But I am second. I'm second with love. A boy I like leading me on, making me feel like he loved me. The boy I like choosing someone else randomly out of the blue. Being on Tinder and having a guy ask about a person in the picture that isn't you. Or going to a party and seeing a guy approach your roommate even though you were interested in him too. I am second. I fucking hate being the second option!
Yeah.
The lesser of two options.
Yeah.
The leftover option, I guess we need one more option, the second choice. And I want to be your first. I want to be the one that is chosen first. I want to be the one that isn't compared to everyone who came before me. Be the person that isn't afraid to set a new path. Follow a path that is devoid of footsteps and awaits me as the first. I will be first one day.
Yes, you will.
I will not be second someday.
Yes,